Marlborough has one of the highest mill rates in the area, but that does not automatically mean it has the highest taxes. Mill rate is only half of the tax story. Now, by the end of this video, you will be able to understand what drives your tax bill in Marlborough and how it ranks amongst the surrounding towns. Let's go. My name is Jason Boyce. I'm a local real estate agent here in Central and Eastern Connecticut, and I have passions for fitness, real estate, and family life with my wife Jasmine and our dog Holly. On this channel, we're going to cover everything you need to know about upsizing or downsizing in the state of Connecticut. Thank you for tuning in. Now, why is Marlborough always part of the tax conversation? Well, it is a smaller residential town, which means there is limited commercial tax base. Therefore, town government relies heavily on residential homeowners, and they need funding for the RAM school system, which they're a part of. They have their own elementary, but also to RAM. And that structure matters more than most people realize. So let's start. What makes up your taxes? Well, it's made up of two main things: the mill rate and the assessed value. So looking at the mill rate alone is misleading because it can vary. Assessed values vary significantly from town to town. So you could have a higher mill rate but a lower assessed value and be in the middle to lower of the pack tax-wise. You could have a low mill rate and a super high assessed value and be at the top of the pack when it comes to taxes. So let's take a look at Marlborough and the surrounding towns. Marlborough is currently sitting at 37.52 mils. Below that is Hebron at 34.5 mils, followed by Glastonbury at 31.93 mils. And then below that is Colchester at 29.92 mils. But remember, that only tells half the story. Because if you look at mill rate alone, people are going to go, wow, Marlborough's the most expensive, Glastonbury's in the middle, and Colchester the cheapest. But once we apply assessed values, look at what happens. See, assessed values are where taxes are kind of won and lost. Now, in Connecticut, the assessed value operates as a percentage, 70%, of what the town says your market value is. And keep in mind that revaluation cycles differ, average home prices in areas differ dramatically, but this is how the structure is created. So towns with higher values often collect more in taxes, even if they have lower mill rates. So how does it shake out in the real world? Well, Glastonbury, amongst these towns, has the highest taxes overall, even though their mill rate is in the middle to lower. Marlborough and Hebron are very similar. Marlborough taxes are just a little bit higher than Hebron, but very similar. And then Colchester comes in at the bottom. Now, this surprises a lot of people, especially buyers coming out of Glastonbury, where the mill rate is lower. Now, people also often ask me about East Hampton or Tolland. They kind of oftentimes get grouped in with these towns of good residential neighborhoods in this Eastern Connecticut area. I'll quickly touch on them just because of the ask. East Hampton, either middle to higher rates. It's going to vary wildly depending on where. And the lake properties can skew tax bills dramatically. Keep that in point in East Hampton. Tolland, you have a larger grand list, more stable assessments. Often values are more predictable. So something to consider there. So why do Marlborough taxes feel high to some homeowners? Well, there is some reality there. It has a smaller tax base. There are fewer commercial properties to help offset. So the fixed costs of running the government and the school system are spread across fewer homes because it's a smaller town. And there is the school funding pressure from the elementary school and going to RAM. Now, I will say higher taxes don't necessarily mean mismanagement. That's just the structure of the way the town is set up. So what does this mean for buyers? Well, Marlborough still makes sense if you value the Ram school system, which a lot of people do, and that's why a lot of people move there. If you want space and privacy, one of the big pros of Marlborough. If you're planning to stay long term, a lot of people move into Marlborough and live there throughout the times their kids are being raised and going through the elementary school, middle school, high school. And if you're not stretching your payment, because taxes will go up over time, that is pretty standard. I do have a whole video about living in Marlborough. I'll link to below to give you more details about the actual town. Marlborough may not make sense if you're super payment sensitive. If you're choosing based on the mill rate alone, remember, there are two things that make up what your tax bill is. If you're looking for suburban services, Marlborough is a little more rural. One of the reasons a lot of people move there. And if you're buying at the top of your budget, remember, taxes and stuff do go up over time. So if you're already at the top of your budget, things could get pretty tight. So when you're looking at taxes and picking out a house, couple things that I just want to point out that are common buyer mistakes. Number one, comparing mill rates only. Number two, ignoring the assessed values. Number three, assuming taxes normalize and they don't go up. So just keep in mind, taxes rarely go down. After you buy, taxes generally go up in the neighborhood of 2 to 3% per year, sometimes more. So keep that in mind as you look out to a future budget. So Marlborough is not a bad town. It's not a bad tax town. It's just a misunderstood one based on the mill rate. So you should really reframe the question when you're looking at taxes. Don't ask which town has the lowest mill rate, but which town has the lowest tax bill overall, if that's important to you. Now, if you're comparing Marlborough, Hebron, Colchester, East Hampton, Tolland, any of those towns, I'm happy to help. You can send me a message below. My phone number, all my contact info is there. More than happy to help you through what your proposed tax bills could be in any given property in those towns. I would rather help you choose the right town than regret the wrong one. So I hope that helps. If you found this helpful, please do me a favor, smash that like button, send it to someone else who might get value out of this. And just want to say, thanks for watching the channel.